Hello League community, it's Percival and this is a concise video on how to balance Conqueror. I will go quickly over all the problems, solutions and compensations when it comes to balancing this Keystone out. But firstly, what are the problems with Conqueror in its current state? Problem number 1. As I've said before a million times, so something I'm not going into further here, it deals too much damage. Problem number 2. It's too easy to proc and get the full benefit of the Keystone, especially in lane despite its disgusting scaling. And lastly, as I've mentioned before, the true damage counters tanks way too much, leaving bruisers going this build instead of actual anti-tank items and still destroying them, going completely against the philosophy of having to build counter items against specific champions to do better versus them. One more note for those who think it's only the best Keystone versus tanks. Conqueror is so strong that it still outdamages old fervor of battle in the vast majority of cases. I did 2 examples mathematically, whom you can read by pausing the video if you care. These were the problems. Now, what are the solutions? Solution number 1. You remove the true damage conversion such that tanks are allowed to play League of Legends again in solo lanes. Solution number 2. You let the Keystone stack up slower but make it deal more in extended fights by not letting it stack on minions and maybe not giving it its full power once procced. Solution number 3. You make the Keystone melee, or well, bruiser only. If you don't want classes, marksmen in this case, to abuse a Keystone that's not meant for them, you can have it not work on ranged champions. All the problems are solved. Except maybe one. How are bruisers supposed to counter tanks specifically now? Well, it's time for Riot to introduce more than one tank item for melee champions. How exactly do I envision them doing this? They can create an item that either grants mutilation or more damage versus shielded champions for these self-shielding casting tanks. I am very aware that mutilation or damage versus shields will also give bruisers more power versus support champions who shield their ADC, but if that becomes too problematic, they can just make it self-shields only for all I care. Or what about a grievous wounds item for bruisers, so they can comfortably counter self-healing tanks, since basically every other class has an anti-healing item already. Last suggestion, the Giant Slayer passive to counter HP stacking tanks. Now I think these items don't need very strong stats on them, since you're getting them for their passive, and I also believe you should get one of the maximum. Just the anti-tank item that fits most versus the enemy team. Maybe they give some HP or health regen and a handful of AD. The reason I don't consider Last Whisper and its upgrades as bruiser items is because they only give AD, while bruisers obviously need more durability from their items. This concludes my ideas on how to balance top lane. I can't stress enough that true damage conversion on a Keystone is bad gameplay design. So much true damage in the game is bad design. On 20%, it's way too much. According to Skara, it's worthless at 10%. Some people argue it could be balanceable, but I don't think there's a magic number that can put Conqueror in a balanced spot. Every single top lane bruiser is not supposed to deal true damage all game from level 1. It just feels so unfair whenever I open dev recap to see mixed damage dealt. Anyhow, if you made it to this point, thank you for watching. Any constructive feedback or sharing of this video is highly appreciated. I'll see me in the next one. I'm Percival, and you're not.